are live. Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. Football Friday. My gosh, it is a massive, massive weekend. We got championship weekend here, top to bottom. We got a bunch of breakdowns. Teddy's going to break down the Mountain West Championship, and then Rams Cardinals, huge game in the NFL. And we're going to do another round of Sell Me. Marco's going to join us. It's Steelers Ravens week, so we got to bring up Marco to talk about his Steelers. And he's going to talk about the ACC Championship and give us his sauce of the week. Dan is going to join me, and we're going to talk about our Super Contest Pick 5 segment. And we have a special surprise guest for it's a one-time segment, and there's nobody that could step in and do this. So you're gonna have an awesome Friday. Real quick, guys, Yanni is not going to be joining us today. Clap it up for Yanni. It's a great day for him. He recorded UFC yesterday, and he's moving. He's got a new place. So we're celebrating Yanni making a really nice move, getting a new place. So he's moving. I don't envy him, but it's going to be awesome when he gets in his new place. Let's get started. Let's bring on Teddy Covers. Teddy, you got some big games here. We got Boise State, UNLV. We got Rams Cardinals. We got to do Sell Me. Happy Friday. How are you, man?
So the last time I moved, I swore to my wife and to my new neighbors, I'm like, I'm never moving again. I'm going to die in this house. And I still stand by that. And the moving's the worst, dude. Good luck, Gianni. We'll miss you today, buddy. That's a pain.
If you want to see your friends disappear, tell them you're moving.
Sure.
Hey, guys, moving.
Works in your 20s, works in your teens, works in your 20s. 30 plus, you're hiring someone or doing it yourself. It's just how it is. Yeah,
Oh, in their 20s, you could get your friends to come over and just have a keg of beer.
They'll
move everything.
Beer work.
Drywall, holes in the drywall, everything's banged up and such. But moving is the bane of everyone's existence. So, all right, let's do the Mountain West Championship game here. We got Boise State, UNLV. I know we've had pretty good money come in on Boise State. So interested in your breakdown on this game. Is this line move warranted? Are you still playing Boise State? Do you like UNLV? What's your breakdown on this game?
So, the money has come for Boise all week. Opened as low as 1.5. Now I'm seeing 5.5s out there. And that has everything to do with the return of Boise quarterback Maddox Madsen. He's set to return. He basically missed all of November, and now he's going to be back. And of course, Boise's offense, which didn't work particularly well without him, in theory, is supposed to work a whole lot better tonight against UNLV. Because UNLV's been a team that struggled on the defensive end of the field statistically all season long. Their defensive numbers do not impress the betting markets. That's certainly another part of the reason why we've seen the money pour in on Boise. A third part of the reason that we've seen the money pour in on Boise has been this series history. And I've been on the wrong end of it, taking UNLV a couple of times during this span. 9-0 straight up for Boise the last 9 meetings, 6-3 against the spread. 8 of those 9 wins have come by 14 points or more. That includes a 56-31 blowout this year on this field with Boise laying 13. It includes wins over UNLV in each of the last 2 Mountain West title games. And note, this year was 56-31. And the Mountain West title game last year was 21-7. So Boise has shown that they can beat UNLV in a high-scoring affair. They've shown they can beat UNLV in a lower-scoring defensive struggle. That being said, all right, UNLV has been disrespected by the betting markets all year, right from the opener. And the opener, Idaho State moved the ball up and down the field against them. It was 38-31 final. They were 30-point chalk. And at that moment, I think I heard 20 different people say, oh, UNLV is not any good this year. And they struggled to beat UCLA. New Mexico thumped the Bruins the following week. UNLV downgraded from that. The Miami-Ohio game, they won thanks to a late fumble. About 38 points to the Redhawks. There was a lot of disrespect for UNLV early. They hung 51 on Air Force and couldn't cover -7 in that ballgame. The defense has struggled. But here in November and into December, the back half of the season, A, that defense has played a whole lot better. B, the offense is clicking on all cylinders. Anthony Colandrea, 8.7 yards per play full season. Jaden Thomas, the star back, 7.4 yards per carry full season. 4-0 straight up, 3-1 against the spread here since the beginning of November. And that includes a pair of dominant wins on the road blowouts. So there's certainly a pretty strong case to be made for Boise. All right, Boise's dominated the series. Boise's controlled the flow. Boise has the pedigree. But this Rebels team at this price range, at +5, +5.5 right now, it's the only way it can look, Andy. It really is. I have enough respect for the Rebels, and I've seen them disrespected the betting markets all year long. I feel this game's a battle, not a blowout. And if I'm playing the game, I'm taking the points. My hometown, UNLV running Rebel.
Listen, when you go contrarian against the market, sometimes it's you're in the best spot. You want to be on the same side of the books as a lot of it. So the books, I'm sure, will be UNLV fans and
big UNLV fans.
Big UNLV fans, yes, absolutely. Let's do this Rams Cardinals game. Huge game for the Rams here. The Cardinals, who knows what's going on with this franchise? They got turmoil at the quarterback position. Not a great look for Kyler Murray. That Jacoby Brissett is looking good here. But the Rams really control their own destiny. Obviously, they're going to be big favorites here. How do you break down this Rams-Cardinals game?
So Jacoby Brissett's been good. He's earned the job, all right? You can't understate what Brissett has meant to what Arizona. Look, Arizona's lost every game. They found ways to lose all these games. But they've been consistently competitive week in, week out. Looking right now at the Odds Logic live odds screen for LA and Arizona, I'm seeing the Rams 8.5. There are 9s out there. And of course, note the difference between 8 and 9. They call that a teaser protection line. A lot of the 8.5s and 8s get bet down. That's your standard teaser under the field goal. When you get up to 9, you can't get under 3 with a standard 6-point teaser. So some books will go straight from 8 to 9. Some books go from 7.5 to 9 and add juice. Bottom line, 8.5. There are 9s out there for the Rams. Total sitting 47.5 for this matchup. And we're certainly talking about a Rams team off a bad showing last week. Certainly a bad, essentially on both sides of the football. Byron Young, that was a humbling experience. This was a wake-up call. Matthew Stafford turned the ball over 3 times last week. Quote, obviously, we're not going to win a whole lot of games when I turn it over 3 times. It hasn't been an issue, and I don't expect it to be moving forward. So there's at least a modest sense of urgency for the Rams here. But, of course, that sense of urgency means they got to win the game, not they got to win the game by 2 scores, which is what the point spread is asking them to do in this one. The Rams off a loss this year, 2-0 straight up, 2-0 against the spread. They've been good in this role. The Rams' last visit to Arizona, and I remember the game well because I had the right side in that one. Arizona 41-10, a blowout over the Rams. LA got off to that 1-4 start last year. Arizona got off to a hot start, and part of that was the Rams' last visit here, which was an absolute annihilation, start to finish. It's the type of loss that a division rival likely to remember even 1 year later. That being said, look what Arizona's been doing. All right. 5 of their 9 losses, they've outgained their opponents. They've lost 4 of those by 4 points or less. Last week, they outgained the Bucs by 100 yards and 1.4 yards per play. This team has been, I'm not going to say shockingly competitive, but they show no signs of quit. We'll give Gannon a whole lot of credit for that last week. Again, they're down 2 touchdowns on the road in Tampa, and the offense moves the ball up and down the field. They score they make the game competitive. So for all the struggles Arizona's had, I haven't seen them let go of the rope. And when you talk about these division rival games, again, Arizona's 1-9 in their last 10 games, but of the 9 losses, 7 of them have come in competitive fashion by 4 points or less. It's worth noting that the 2 losses that weren't competitive were both against division rivals, Seattle and San Fran. But I think the price is a little bit high for LA here. A touchdown, maybe I'm interested. At 8, 8.5, 9, I can only look at the dog that continues to play competitive football week in, week out, even with LA coming off that defeat.
What's your take on Kyler Murray at this point? Like, what does the future hold for him? Is he still going to stay with Arizona?
No. This is I would imagine that Arizona resets this offseason. I'm not convinced anyone's going to be back. Whether it's the coach, whether it's the quarterback. But I mean, Brissett's played well enough to keep starting. I mean, we have to give him credit. All right, he's played well. He played every bit as good as Kyler Murray, if not better. Murray has a unique skill set. There's hope for Murray. I don't know if there's much hope for this offense. I do not expect to see him back in Arizona next year at this time.
I think he's going to look great in a Minnesota Vikings jersey.
Jets will probably be interested too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's why I'm starting Jacoby Brissett on my fantasy football team, a phrase I did not think I would be using at the beginning of the season. He's just putting up these big stats, and because he's on my team, I watch him. I'm like, it's not bad. Jacoby
That's what I'm saying.
Not bad.
For as bad as Arizona's record is, they've been in these games. They've been competitive. And again, what I'm looking for when we talk about December NFL, basic strategy. The teams that have let go of the rope, they're going to let go of the rope. Those aren't the teams that aren't competing. Your Tennessees of the world's going to tell you, you're going to have a hard time getting me to take Tennessee. Your bottom feeders. But your bad teams that are still fighting, that are holding on to the rope and hanging on, there's often value with squads like that. Arizona certainly has been a value-laden team despite all their struggles for the better part of the last 2 months.
Yeah, I'm not the only one. I've been starting Jacoby since Jane Daniels went down. He's 25 points a game. Jacoby Brissett's winning you fantasy games. It's amazing. So we're going to do Sell Me, but Teddy, I know you got a really good special up with a promo code Teddy299. Gets the rest of college football and NFL. Tell us about that special.
Yeah, look, this has not been my best football season. I mean, believe me, you guys have told me on X. I know. I know. That being said, one of the things we do, A, at WagerTalk, we're transparent, and B, I ain't letting go of the rope, all right? I made money in December. I made money in January. We've had real good Super Bowls in recent seasons. I'm not expecting anything different this year. I know it hasn't been great, but if you want to get on board for the rest of the season, this is every play, every day, NFL, right through the Super Bowl, including the prop report, all 5% big tickets included, college football, right through the national championship game, the entirety of bowl season, and obviously this weekend included. Just use promo code Teddy299, and that'll get you every play, every day for the rest of football season, college and the NFL, for $299. I expect to make money, and I would love if you would join me. So visit my homepage, wt.buzz/TC. Let's get on board. Cheers.
All right, we got to do Sell Me. So we bring on Dan. If you haven't seen the segment before, this is where you, the audience, get a chance to win a 3-day pass. So Dan picks a random game, assigns me and Teddy a team, and we have to, impromptu style, make the case for why they will cover the spread. And you, the audience, pick a side, Teddy or Andy, put it in the comment section after the show is over. If you like Andy's side, you like Teddy's side, then put your WagerTalk username. We'll pick a winner, and you get a free 3-day pass. So, Dan, you're giving us a good game this week, right?
Of course. The only time that we talk Sell Me, we talk about marquee matchups. I mean, you got that Monday Night Football game I'll be in attendance in LA. We got a nice Houston, Kansas City. Kansas City, their playoff hopes alive. Well, guys, let's talk about the marquee matchup that everybody wants to know about, and that is the Titans versus the Cleveland Browns. How fun is it to sell me on an NFL side that nobody wants either side? If there's a quad box, if there's an octo box, people are actively avoiding getting this game up there, but there might just be some betting value, and we're seeing well over the key number of 3 here for the Cleveland Browns. They are 4-point favorites as they're taking on the de facto worst team in the NFL, and this thing is 4 painted. A beautiful total of 34 points in this game, Andy and Teddy. This is a barn burner. Andy, you're going to let me know why the favorite is justified. Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns laying the 4. Teddy, you're going to sell me on the Titans as a dog, but Andy, you're up first. Home favorite here, over a field goal. The Browns. Is it the defense? Why we're seeing this? Why do you think we should be betting on the Cleveland Browns? Sell me on that NFL side.
Well, anytime you can get 4 points on a team that scored 8 points last week, you have to do it, especially because they would have covered this spread against the Titans, who scored 3 points last week. So you have 2 teams here who scored 11 points combined. And listen, this is just a disaster season for Tennessee and Cam Ward. It's not going well. They have injuries. I'm looking. They have one win this season. That was at the Arizona Cardinals. But they're not only losing, they're losing by margin, and they're losing by margin at home. They got boat raced last week. They lost by 6 to Seattle, but that game was a complete blowout. It was all garbage time points. Same versus the Texans. You have a Browns team with Myles Garrett, who's probably going to get the sack record this week or next week. You've got Cam Ward, who just continues to throw interceptions, and now you got a Tennessee Titans defense that cannot stop the run. And Quinshon Judkins is going to get probably 23, 24 carries. This is a Browns team that's going to eat up a lot of clock. They're not going to let Shedeur throw the ball that much. It's going to be just disgusting Cleveland-y weather. And the only thing more miserable than playing for the Titans is playing for the Titans in Cleveland. This is going to be an unmotivated Titans team. It's going to be a lot of running. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I would take the under on this 34.5 or whatever it is. I don't see. It's just going to be a lot of clock running, and Myles Garrett's going to eat Cam Ward for lunch, breakfast, dinner. So I will gladly lay the points.
All right, so he's gladly laying the points. I don't know if you can do anything gladly in this game, to be fair, Andy, but Andy will gladly lay the spot there with Cleveland. And guys, this starts to become a math problem when you have a 34-point total, a 4-point favorite. It's like those word problems that you would have way back when it would be like, the train is traveling at 30 miles per hour. How many apples does Teddy have? Well, that's the question. RJ says, you got a total of 34, 4 as a favorite. Will the Titans score? Because, Teddy, you making a case here for the Tennessee Titans, them scoring at least once has to be a part of the equation, correct?
Yeah, this feels more like a trolley problem than a train problem. We got to figure out, which one we're going to run over. Because both these
wagon,
probably,
if you will.
Deserve it. And of course, I know that it wasn't just a minute ago that I said, when I was talking about the Arizona game, I'm like, well, I'm not going to try to make a case for a team like Tennessee that's let go of the rope.
And here you are doing it.
And here I am making a case for a team like Tennessee. But any handicap in any sport, for me, it always starts with the favorite. Does the favorite deserve to be favorite? Does the favorite merit this price? And Cleveland is not a team that can be favored with any level of confidence. All right. The last time, and we've seen the Browns favored already this year. Favored a couple of weeks ago against the Jets. Yeah, they lost that game in straight up fashion. The Jets hung 27 on them, which is something of a concern if you like Tennessee. There's another key factor here. If I'm looking for little points that are going to put me on the Tennessee side, when you talk about bad teams, home field isn't worth anything. I'd much rather get an extra field goal plus, with Tennessee in Cleveland than ask the Titans to win this game at home, where they're getting no support, or the crowd's starting to boo well before halftime. That'll happen to Cleveland this time around. And for all the struggles Cam Ward has had, Tennessee's defense hasn't let go of the rope. They've been playing hard every week. And also, one more, again, little notches. I'm just trying to think of things. Little notch. You have a first-year coach in Tennessee and a veteran coach in Cleveland. Who do you expect the better play from down the stretch? The team playing for the first-year head coach, not the team playing for the head coach who's been there for a while. So, again, asking the Browns to win by more than a field goal is a little bit rich for my blood. Tennessee, a clear choice, Andy. Clear choice for this bet.
Clear choice. The votes, Andy, are coming in, and this is probably my favorite. And drop your votes in the comments below after the show. You write Teddy, you write Andy, and you share your WagerTalk username. That's how you're entered in. If the guy that you choose, his side covers, you're going to be entered in to win a little prize here from WagerTalk. But this is my favorite comment. They're voting for Tandy because this game stinks. so take your pick. We're voting for the super couple that is Tandy. So there you go. But comment below. Let us know, who are you going with? Comment with your WagerTalk username, and you'll be entered in for some flex pick action. So well done as always, gentlemen. Always look forward to this segment every Friday.
Thank God we didn't get to break down Texans Chiefs or one of those big games. I would have hated to break down.
But if you frame it like our WagerTalk insider here, Cam versus Shedeur, if this was a college football matchup, you would be intrigued by the matchup.
Yeah, good game, interesting game. You can bet on it. That makes it that always makes it interesting.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Teddy covers. Don't forget to use the promo code Teddy299. Gets the rest of college football and NFL season. Teddy, thank you so much. Good luck this weekend. Let's have a big weekend. Can't wait to see you next week. Thank you, brother.
Cheers.
All right. A couple things here. 5% NFL best bet went up. We cashed last night by the hook. So the primetime run continues in NFL. It's 24-12 on primetime. Thank you for all that joined. So 5% NFL best bet is up. That's going to include all plays that we have on Sunday. We still have our 5% UFC best bet that is up. So we have a monster weekend. 3-day pass is probably the best move at this point. It'll get you a couple of 5% plays. So that's over at wt.buzz/AL. Had a really nice 4% winner in golf yesterday. Got a lot of golf plays going today. David had asked about the cricket play. So here's what I'm going to do. David said, could we do a video talking about cricket and breaking it down? That would be the least viewed video we have ever done in the history of Wager Talk. Here's what I will do.
Andy, I did do a video on how to bet lacrosse, and that may have beaten your cricket breakdown as the worst viewed video on Wager Talk's history.
We would at least compete. What I would do at the very end of the show, after all the super contest picks, after all the breakdowns, David, I will talk a little bit about the cricket play because I know we have a bunch of people in here that are involved in that. So it's just going to be at the very, very end. So stay tuned for that. We got to bring in our special guest. We're bringing in Jesse. And myself and Chris, we're talking, and we were like, man, we got so many great games, and we have tons of individual game breakdown videos on the YouTube channel, and you guys have heard us talk all week about these NFL games, and we were like, a real gambling channel would break down the worst of the worst games. And Jesse was like, that's me. That's right up my alley. So let's bring on Jesse. So Jesse, we're gonna. I have props for this one. You're gonna break down the trash games, and I've got some various things that were in my trash, and we will compare these games to this. So let's start talking about these just horrible games and how we can break them down. And you just heard me and Teddy break down Titans Browns. So I want to hear your breakdown. And I have this game kind of as the This is the empty toilet paper roll. That's what this game is. We've got no use for it. It's flimsy. Nobody wants it around. Throw it in the trash. So break down this Titans-Browns game. Break the tie. Who do you like in this one?
I mean, if you appreciate good defense, this is a hell of a game. You got Myles Garrett looking to break the sack record, which he's probably going to do. I like this Browns team. I like their defense. Obviously, their offense stinks. Shedeurs, hasn't really proven anything so far, but I absolutely loved Cleveland last week. It was my only NFL play on Sunday. I was a little bit hungover from Thanksgiving. The only game I had was Cleveland plus 5.5. And of course they lost 26-8 to San Francisco. But if you look at that game, they had an edge in total yards by 1 yard. Total yards was almost identical, 253 to 252. First down, San Francisco had a slight edge. Time of possession, again, almost identical, 30 minutes and 10 seconds to 29 minutes and 50 seconds. It was 2 fumbles by the Browns that cost them that game. So, you look at the final score, it looks like they got their asses kicked. That wasn't really the case. Shedeur, 149 yards, a touchdown on 16 of 25. And then Purdy, 168 yards, a touchdown on 16 of 29. Again, almost identical performances from the quarterbacks. This does look like a good spot to bet the Browns, but Teddy made a compelling argument. How can you lay points with this team? Tennessee, 1-11 straight up, 5-7 against the spread, 0-7 on the road. They've lost 7 straight games. They got blown out versus Jacksonville. Their defense, it looks competitive at times, but the numbers tell a different story. 24th in total defense, 346 yards per game, 29th in scoring defense, 27.3 points per game. And Cam Ward has been sacked a league worst 48 times. I want to bet on Myles Garrett over his sacks in this game, but as we talked before the game or before the show, those lines don't come out until just before the game. I lean Cleveland. Again, don't really want to lay the points. looked at all the props, want to bet unders on yards for quarterbacks and unders and touchdown. It's all just priced accordingly. Nobody wants to bet on anybody to do anything offensively in this game. The one bet that I think might work out is 31.5 pass attempts for Cam Ward. I just think there's going to be a lot of 3 and outs and not enough sustained drives. Even if he's passing on every down, I think there's not going to be enough sustained drives. And I do think that we will see Cleveland chew up the clock with Judkins and Sampson, the dynamic duo in the backfield there. So under 31.5 passing attempts for Cam Ward is the best I could come up with for this dumpster fire of a game.
That's great. You brought up 2 fumbles last week, a quarterback that sacked 48 times. Incredible breakdown, incredible game. All right, we are moving to let's do a quick one on the Dolphins and the Jets. I have this game is the empty, cheap wine bottle. This is in honor of Justin Fields. When it was full of wine at the beginning of the season, you're excited. Now it's empty. There's no use for it. There's no use for Justin Fields on this team. What's your quick breakdown on Dolphins Jets?
Well, I must admit, Andy, you'd find a few of those around my house.
Yes.
I mean, quite simply, you can't bet Miami on the road in the winter in New York. They were lucky to beat the Saints last week. I guess everybody saw that. The Saints with a chance to tie it on a 2-point conversion. They end up giving up the 2 points with the interception run back. Then the Saints convert on an onside kick. They've got a chance to win the game outright, come up short. The Jets coming off a 27-24 win over Atlanta. Tyrod Taylor throws for 172 yards, a touchdown on 19 of 33 passing. Not exactly lighting it up, but 8 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown, getting it done with his legs. I do like Tyrod Taylor to get it done with his legs again here. Over 4.5 rushing attempts. He's gone over that number in 3 of his last 4 games. So I'll take the Jets plus the points and Tyrod Taylor over 4.5 rushing attempts.
Jess, you're doing fantastic telling us how to make money off of these games. This is great. We're moving on to the Saints.
Money all spent the same, Andy.
Absolutely. We're moving on to
the Saints. You can get a lot of cheap bottles of wine if you win those rushing attempt props.
We're moving on to the Saints and the Bucs. I've got just the disgusting paper towels you've used to wipe up messes. The Saints are a mess. The Bucs are probably going to wipe them up this week. How do we make money on the Saints and the Bucs real quick?
Yeah, I almost take exception to this being considered a dumpster fire game. I mean, it was only a month ago that we were talking about Baker Mayfield as MVP, but some injury concerns for the Bucs. That shoulder for Baker Mayfield is of concern. Bucs are just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 overall. Mayfield, 152 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 15 of 24 against New Orleans in October. Bucky Irving's back. That's good news for the Bucs. And I like Bucky Irving props in this game. His second game coming off the injury. He had 81 combined rush receiving yards in his first game back. I think he gets plenty of touches in this game. The number for rushing receiving yards, 86.5. He had 81 against Arizona. His average on the season is over 100 combined rush and receiving yards. With the shoulder injury, I don't see Mayfield wanting to push the ball downfield as much. I think he's going to do the short check downs to Bucky Irving, who's a great receiver out of the backfield. So over 86.5. And I actually think the Saints are a live dog here. If there's one game they're going to get up for against a division rival, you saw how competitive they were in Miami last week. And Tyler Shugg, didn't expect much from him, but you got to admit, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's averaged 255 yards per game in his last 3 starts. Tyler Shugg actually looks like he's the good pick at quarterback. He's been better than their previous starters.
All right. And finally, this is my favorite one, Jesse. The Broncos and the Raiders. This is the old leftover piece of meatloaf like Pete Carroll. It's just old. It's done. You shouldn't get involved with it. It just needs to be thrown out. Real quick, what are we doing with this Broncos-Raiders game?
I mean, this game was a complete dumpster fire on Thursday night about a month ago. I got to say, I do like the Raiders getting the points in this game. I mean, how can you bet on a Denver team that has just 2 wins by more than 4 points in their last 10 games overall? I mean, they've won 9 straight games, but the last 4 games have all been decided by 3 points or less. This team has a losing record against the spread. They're the phoniest 10-2 team I've ever seen. Bo Nix is having a sophomore slump. There's no way I'm laying the points with Denver in this game. And Ashton Genty has been a bit of a disappointment. Such high expectations, being drafted so high. I like his receptions prop here, over 4.5 receptions. He's got 5+ receptions in 4 of his last 5 games. The only exception was the game against Denver. That was an outdoor game on the road at Denver. This is a home game indoors. And like I said, I like the Raiders plus the points. Hold your nose and take the dog and take Genty over 4.5 receptions. I don't know about you, Andy, but am I a little bit too fired up about these bad games?
You're kind of getting me interested, but you got agreement in the chat on Genty. Yeah, he's been a catching machine. So yeah, you got agreement on the receptions. So Jesse, thank you for stepping in and taking these absolute trash games, showing us how to make money on it. Tell everyone what you have up for the weekend.
Man, I am so excited about the conference championship games. I've got a 5% play on the SEC championship game. I've got a 4% play on the Big Ten championship game. I'm 100% perfect with my 5% plays the last 30 days. And I just absolutely love the angles I'm using for both these games. I think if the customers see my analysis, they're going to agree with me 100%. In order to do that, though, they should sign up for that Weekend Warrior package, $49. That'll cover you all weekend. We'll throw in Monday Night Football. Trust me, you want to see what I got for those 2 big college football games on Saturday.
I'm in. Count me in. Let's do it, Jesse. Let's go. Jesse Schule taking on the task that nobody else wanted to do, breaking down the worst of the worst games. Thank you so much, Jesse. Good luck this weekend. Cash that 5%, brother. Rooting for you. Yeah, we had to draw the line somewhere. Washington, Minnesota was just too garbagey, so that one didn't quite make the cut. But yes, Mariota and McCarthy. Good God! All right, let's bring on Marco. We got to talk some college football. We got to talk his Steelers. His reeling Steelers, Marco. Let's do college football first, and then we'll talk about. Actually, no, let's do Steelers Ravens. I was listening to a podcast, and someone said that last week Aaron Rodgers just looked like a homeless guy. He's just like bleeding. He's got bandages all over him. He just looks like he's all dazed and confused. Ravens aren't exactly coming in with a lot of momentum either. They got injuries of their own here. Fascinating game, huge game. Baltimore's the big favorite here, -5.5, over under 42.5. What are we doing with your Steelers?
Well, first of all, when I saw that you had me doing this game, the Steelers-Ravens, I said, why in the world would they make me do this shit game? Little did I know that this was going to be the premier game of the last 2 segments. Oh, my God. Could you guys talk about any uglier games in the last, 4 games? I sat here in the backstage watching, trying not to puke about the matchups. But, hey, good information on all of them. But, oh, God, Dan's twisted. That's all I got to say. But let's look at Steelers and Ravens. And, guys, yeah, to say the Steelers are reeling is being very kind, Dan. They hit rock bottom last week in Pittsburgh. And I'm talking rock bottom for the last 2 decades, okay? It doesn't get any worse than what we saw last week in Pittsburgh. And what I'm alluding to is the performance on the field was, a whole nother story. It was bad. But we saw 2 things happen in the stadium that I thought I would never see. First, you heard the chants, "Fire Tomlin," and they were loud, and it deserve it, okay? The Steelers are not playing good football. Tomlin, and I'll be talking about him a little later in the show some more. But what I never thought I would see in Pittsburgh, and if you're a Pittsburgh fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are 2 Pittsburgh traditions that are even on the road. Sometimes you see one of them all the time. Sometimes you even hear the other. But it's the terrible towel That's the trademark of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The other trademark is when they're playing at home, sometime in the third quarter, when it's a huge defensive series coming up for the Steelers, when they go to the break in the stadium, they blast through the stadium the song Renegade, okay? And while they're playing the music to that song, there's a video playing on the Jumbotron. And it's all like defensive highlight plays. It's a pump-up video, gets the crowd going because Steelers in defense, that's what you think. The crowd booed when Renegade came on because that's how bad the Steeler defense was playing last week against the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills ran for 249 yards on this vaunted Steeler defense. The Steeler defense that is the highest paid defense in the NFL. And Mike Tomlin made the mistake at the beginning of the season talking about this defense, saying that this was an historic defense. Well, he was right. Historically bad. Buffalo ran the exact same play out of the formation, a running play, 29 times in that game. And the Steelers never made an adjustment. And more mind-boggling is the fact that Buffalo did it with not one, but two offensive linemen out for that game. So with all of that said, what am I going to do in this game this week? I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why? Because Baltimore's not playing any better. And Pittsburgh absolutely, as I said, rock bottom, embarrassed. And now it's not on only the coach. It's easy to blame who's on the top. But when the defense got booed the way they did, if there's any pride left on this team, and remember, it was Baltimore that knocked them out of the playoffs last year in embarrassing fashion. That was, remember that gigantic fall over the last 6 weeks for the Steelers last year and Russell Wilson. It was ugly. But if you look back at the history of this series, 9 of the last 11 games have been decided by a touchdown or less. I can't trust Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. He's just not right. He's not 100% healthy. 5 turnovers last week the Ravens had. They got the advantage of 3 extra days because they played on Thursday. I'll give them that. But, sometimes when things are going bad, the best thing a team can do is go on the road because you don't have to worry about your home crowd booing you. You expect to be booed on the road. I'm going to go ahead and take Pittsburgh plus the points. I think this game comes down to a field goal either way. And I'll take my kicker with Boswell to get the job done. Give me Pittsburgh plus the points.
It's amazing what's happened to these two teams. I mean, you thought Baltimore was going to be amazing. Pittsburgh looked amazing to start the season. What a stumble down the stretch. Now all of a sudden this Bengals game. It's interesting because that game's going on at the exact same time. That would have been interesting if Bengals was early, and if they win now, it's a 4:00 game, and you got Baltimore and Pittsburgh looking at that Bengals team breathing down their necks. So, let's go to college football here. Let's talk this ACC Championship game. We got Duke and Virginia. Virginia's going to come in, looks like 4-point favorite, pretty high total here, over under 57.5 at this point. What's your breakdown on this game?
Well, guys, this is Duke's Super Bowl. It's plain and simple. Because even if they win, it doesn't matter. They don't go to the college football playoffs. And Virginia has all the pressure in the world on them. They are playing what the other conferences are looking over and laughing at. They're playing a 7-5 team in their conference championship game. How in the world we have a 7-5 Duke in the ACC championship game and not 10-2 Miami? Because what happened? 5 teams finished in a log jam for second place in the ACC at 6-2. And I'm not smart enough to figure out all the tiebreakers, but it came out that Duke won the tiebreakers to enter this game that if you win, you're not going to the playoffs. God bless us. College football. But this is where we are. Virginia, as I said, has all the pressure on them. And with that said, a lot of times teams end up playing not to lose instead of playing to win. Duke's playing with house money. Now, I know they played just 3 weeks ago, and Virginia beat them 34-17 at Duke. But let's go back and look at when that game was played. Duke was in a bad scheduling spot. 2 weeks prior to that, they had gone to Clemson, and even though Clemson's got a down year, they beat Clemson in a barn burner, 46-45. So they were riding a major high off of that win. The following week, they had to travel to Connecticut, and we were on Connecticut in that game, okay, because it was just a trap spot for Duke. What happened? Connecticut ended up beating them in another barn burner, 37-34. So then they come back home to play a Virginia team that was coming off an upset loss at home to Wake Forest. So you had a focused Virginia team. And, oh, by the way, Duke had just finished playing 4 road games in 5 games. They had a stretch of 4 road games in 5 games. They were a tired team. All those barn burner games, you're going to see a different Duke team in this one. I'm going to go ahead, take Duke plus the points in this one. I think Virginia, we saw it earlier in the year. They had that stretch of 3 or 4 games in a row where they won by, 3-4 points. They just got by. I think that's what you're going to see here. And Duke, you're playing with house money. You can roll the dice. You can do whatever you want. You can gamble on 4th down. I'll take Duke 31-30, another shootout.
All right. Liking Duke, liking the over maybe a little bit on that one. So it should be a fun, high-scoring game here. Marco, you got a 14-day all-access pass for $139. Tell us about that. You don't do very many 5% plays, but boy, when you do, they hit. Nice 40-16 run on 5% play. So tell us what you have up for everybody in Wager Talk.
Yeah, those 5% plays have been gold. We actually only released 1 last week, but we got credit for 2 wins. Why? Because we also cashed a season win total in college football. That Utah over 7.5 wins was easy. So is a 5% we released back in August. So that 40-16 mark, very proud of that. We will have a 5% this weekend. And we put together a package, guys. The regular rate for a week of all access is $99. So if you bought 2 weeks, you're looking at $198. If you sign up this week, I put together a 14-day all-access blitz for $139. Guys, you'll get every play I release in every sport. Another winning day yesterday. We just keep grinding it out. 2 out of 3, pick up another 3.3 units of profit yesterday. And what have we done? Last 36 days, 56-34 for a net profit of over $6,100. That's 61 units of profit in 36 days. Join me this week, 2 weeks, $139. It's the best deal going, guys.
All right. Every week, you do the sauce of the week. What's the wing sauce? We're kind of running out of sauces here. There's a million of them, but we're using them up pretty quick. What's your sauce this week? What's the team we're comparing it to?
I always try to tie the sauce to something, and this is pick on Mike Tomlin week, okay? First of all, memo to Mike Tomlin. 2007 called. They said they're gone. It's gone. Quit coaching like it's 2007. The offense is so predictable, okay? And have you seen the Steelers version of the tush push? Okay, and Dan's the expert on the tush push, being a Philadelphia Eagle fan. But the Steelers version of the tush push is we line somebody up under center. No, that person under center is not the quarterback. Okay, we've seen some other teams do that. That's okay. But the quarterback's still on the field. The quarterback's standing 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage with his hands on his hips, watching the play to see if they make the first down for him to go. Common math, okay? I've never said that I'm the smartest guy in the room, but I definitely am not the dumbest guy in the room, okay? I know that if you have 11 guys on one side of the line and 10 guys on the other side of the line, I think the 11 guys have an advantage. Just me. I'm just funny that way. Okay, that's enough. Let's talk about, he's got in the past because he's never had a losing season. Mike, that never having a losing season means squat when you keep finishing 500 or 9-7, because what that does is either you sneak into the playoffs and get eliminated in the first round, which you have done every time you've made the playoffs since 2016, and when you go to draft, you're going to be drafting somewhere between 17th pick and 24th pick. You're not finding franchise players in those late rounds like that, in the late draft picks. That's one. And, oh, yes, I know, I'm sorry, you won a Super Bowl. That Super Bowl was 2008. By the way, Bill Cowher retired at the end of the 2006 season. So most of that roster was still Bill Cowher's. But you won the Super Bowl. And how did you win that Super Bowl, or that last playoff game that we talked about in 2016? That should have been the cursor for what was about to come. They were last playoff game the Steelers won was 18-16 over the Kansas City Chiefs when Chris Boswell kicked 6 field goals. 6. Okay. As I said, you got to change the offense. And your refusal to put the attention to offense and go like the rest of the NFL to a high octane offense and not rely on the defense is coaching suicide. So in typical Mike Tomlin fashion, if you've ever listened to an interview of his post game, one of his favorite phrases is, the standard is the standard. Now, I really don't quite really understand what that means, but here's the standard that is the standard for me. The standard is not finishing 500, okay? And the decisions you've made, you've got rid of assistant coaches. You've rolled them under the bus. It's time for you to go. You've committed what I refer to as coaching suicide. So you, my friend, are getting the suicide hot sauce. Might seem like a good decision at the time, but you're going to pay for it later, and you're going to pay for it at the end of the season. This will be Mike Tomlin's last year. My prediction in Pittsburgh, but the way it'll play out, because the Roonies are class acts, is they will not fire him. They will let Mike Tomlin resign at the end of the season, and that's how it'll play out.
I mean, how Steelers-y was it that they signed Adam Thielen? Like, oh, that'll put some juice in the offense. So,
a guy that is retiring that wants to latch on to a playoff. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. You made a mistake there.
I love it, Marco. First now. That's so ridiculous. All right. Marco's got his special up, 14 days all access for $139. Go check out his page over at WagerTalk. Only $139 get you all plays, all percentages. Marco, good luck on those 5% best bets. 40-16 run for Marco on 5% plays. All right, let's do some free plays here. Then we're going to bring in Dan, and we'll go over our mega contest picks. So we're going to be prop heavy. We're going to do a couple of NFL props and an NBA prop. We're going to go to the Steelers-Ravens game. I know Derrick Henry hasn't been great this year, but the Steelers' rush defense is really, really awful. So I'll take Henry over 81.5 rushing. Steelers have given up 150-plus in 3 straight. In the last 2 games against Pittsburgh, Derrick Henry has rushed for 162 and 186 yards. So we'll take Derrick Henry over. Move to the Bears-Packers. DeAndre Swift over 12.5 rush attempts. This Bears team, they got this running game going. Both Swift and Monangai have looked really, really good. He's gone over this in 7 out of the last 9 games. The Packers give up 25 rush attempts per game. Weather looks to be pretty cold. I expect there to be a lot of running, so we'll take Swift to go over his attempts. And then we go to the NBA. Keep your eye on Ryan Nembhard. He's getting the start. He's playing a lot of minutes, and he looks good. I don't think the books have caught up with this one. Give me over 1.5 made threes. I know he's playing the Thunder tonight. It's a tough matchup, but he's gone over in 4 straight. He's played 34 minutes the last 2 games, and he's had 18 three-point attempts the last 4 games. So Ryan Nembhard, increase in minutes, increase in attempts. I don't think the books have really caught up with this one. You're getting a very fair price on Ryan Nembhard over. All right, Dan, let's talk Super Contest. I think we both had losing weeks last week, so we got to get back on the board here.
Not only did I have the losing week, Andy, I had the nightmare week. 1-4, rough. 2-3, okay, not awful. We had the 0-5 bottom fallout week last week. So, and even the ones, sometimes, you kick yourself when you're doing these contests, Andy, and you say, oh, I left this play off or I left that play off. Even the plays that were leans for me last week, I just had no read. I was dead wrong on everything I had. And, I mentioned to you, some things that were going on, traveling and everything like that. The nature of, what we do, and especially when you're entered into these contests, doesn't matter if you have, family stuff. It doesn't matter if you have travel going on. You have 5 picks to make. In your instance, you have clients who rely on you, who we rely on growing our bankrolls for our money as well. And the grind don't stop no matter what's going on. So my suggestion is, when you have some of those weeks, don't blow everything up. Don't, just chalk it up to, I wasn't in the right mind frame to be breaking down games. And sometimes that just happens. So 0-5, absolutely brutal. I can't wait for the comments on Adam and I's video this week. That's going to absolutely destroy us. But if we bounce back, we go 5-0. It's a new quarter. We could be alive for the quarterly prize. So rough week for sure.
All right, well, let's get back to the winning ways. I'll share my picks here. So I'm going to disagree with Margo here. Give me the Ravens. I think the Steelers team is toast. Where do the points come from the Steelers team? I mean, at least the Ravens have a path to scoring points, which is run the ball. I just don't see much offense coming from the Steelers. DK Metcalf is just DOA, man. Like, you can't even start him in fantasy leagues. It's terrible. So Rodgers banged up. I'll take the Ravens here. We made fun of the Browns and Titans. I'm just fading these terrible teams. You're going to see me fading the Titans, the Raiders, and the Vikings quite a bit down the stretch. Titans just looked completely inept. I think the Browns, when you have a bad team and they get a chance to beat up on a bad team, they kind of do. It's like kind of one of those stat padding games. So I'll take the Browns here. My favorite this week is the Commanders to win outright at the Vikings. This J.J. McCarthy situation is bad. It's bad. Justin Jefferson's another one.
Andy, this was one of the games that we were kind of head to head on. However, you're getting a great line here now because we've been doing the show. Adam Schefter reported Jaden Daniels is going to start in this game. So you're now seeing the Commanders as up to 2-point favorites at spots like Circa and the Superbook, 1.5 elsewhere. But they've flipped to the favorite since Jaden Daniels has been in. Interesting, though, when the news came in, Andy, it was like 2s across the board. And then it went right to 1.5. So chart bettors are saying, hey, does Jaden Daniels being back really move the needle all that much? But just wanted to note, yours is 1.5. It's a good line. Ours is actually 2.5 in the contest line. They're now favorites in that game.
Yeah, fading the Vikings until further notice. I'm also fading the Raiders until further notice. We need to – sometimes we just overthink things. Older defensive coaches – it's just team total under. Pete Carroll cannot keep up. This is not a fair task.
Geno Smith has horribly regressed too. Geno
horrible.
Smith is,
Yeah, so I'm fading the Raiders. I don't care who they play. And then I like this Bengals team. This is a team that might be peaking at the right time. They got the Ravens and they got the Steelers in their sights. They can catch them. And this Bills team cannot stop the run. And I don't know who the explosive playmakers are outside of Josh Allen and James Cook. So too many points here. I think it's a really close one-score game, so I'll be happy to take all those points. So Ravens, Browns, Commanders, Broncos, Bengals for me.
As soon as props came out, I started hitting Chase Brown stuff. I think Chase Brown has a big game here against the Buffalo Bills. So we're these aren't locked in yet. Adam and I are recording the show coming up here in about an hour. This Minnesota game probably is going to get pushed off of the card. I still like Minnesota money line, but 2.5, laying 2.5 in a contest when the line has flipped and is almost 4 points the other way. It's just easier to cross that one off. He's really high on the Jaguars that he wants to tag in there. I think Indianapolis might be blowing him out, to be honest with you. I think this could be the Indy get-right spot that we've been waiting for. So that's one that we'll kind of go toes-to-toes with. Other than that, Andy, this is looking at what happened last week, and it was a lot of dogs. It was a lot of outright dogs. You're not saying that pendulum is going to completely swing back, but the betting public is probably going to get scared off of laying some numbers here. Atlanta's a team that we were cashing in on early. the latest form of Atlanta is a bad football team that's limping to the finish. Drake London probably isn't going to play again. Kirk Cousins, he looks like he's ready to retire. Seattle, that defense is great. Seattle is one of the teams who, as an Eagles fan, I'm actually afraid of here in the NFC, regardless if Sam Darnold turns into a pumpkin or not. So we're laying the 7. And keep the hate coming, Chicago Bears fans. I'm fading them week after week. This team is not good. Yes, you beat up on the Eagles. I was dead wrong on that game. All the advanced metrics say that this team is a fraud. I believe that they're a fraud. I'm going to keep betting against them. Green Bay playing really well right now. Chicago's the defense likely going to keep that offense struggling. So, Andy, for me, my favorite play of the week is laying the 6.5. And when Chicago's in the playoffs, one of my biggest bets of the season is going to be betting against them. They're not a good football team, Bears fans. Keep shredding me. I even wore the Bears colors for you. They're not that guy, pal. Ugly game, 8.5 for New Orleans. If you want to hear why we like that, watch the show. And then I saw somebody say that Houston is the easy play against this Kansas City offensive line. I'm just going back to the well of Andy Reid with the teams around or below 500. It's a trend year over year that continues to cash since he was with the Eagles way back in 1999. Team that needs it like blood. CJ Stroud, is he as impressive on the road having him back? This Houston team, the defense, yes, they're incredible. But you're playing a team that's fighting for their livelihood in Kansas City. I'm going to continue to keep riding Kansas City because year over year, it's been good to play on them when their backs are up against the wall.
All right. Let's have a bounce back week, man.
It's a bounce back week, Andy. I got to find that 5th play, though. I got to find that 5th play because I don't think you can lay 2.5 with Minnesota. If you want to bet them, you bet them on the money line. But why you would want to bet on J.J. McCarthy? I will say the handicap that put me on Minnesota doesn't really change much with Jaden Daniels because it's not like Mariota's been playing bad. You know what I mean? Like you like that play when it was Mariota who was going to be in. It's more just for me that big letdown of you go to overtime, you push the Broncos to overtime, and that was on prime time. And now what do you really have to play for? Your season's done. Your quarterback's coming back. It's just I find it a hard get-up spot, whereas Minnesota, while they've been really bad, not all hope is lost for them, is moving forward here. So.
All right. Well, I promised everyone I would break down this cricket situation.
Oh, I'm getting off the screen for this, Andy. I'll leave the cricket to you. Cricket to
all
you.
Right. Okay. Well, this marks the end of the show. We have a 5% NFL best bet that is up, and that is going to include all of our props. Props is how we build bankrolls, guys. We're coming off a nice winner last night. That's now a 24-12 primetime record for the 2025 season. An insane run. We get there by the hook. When things are running great, things just happen to bounce your way. So join us on the 5% best bet in NFL. We also have a 5% in UFC. So grab a 3-day pass. You're going to get all props in NBA, NHL, NFL. We've got Formula One race. We've got UFC. We've got a lot of plays in UFC. So it's a big, big weekend. We got a lot of units to profit on. So join us over at wt.buzz/AL. And thank you so much for joining us. Hit the like button, please, and make sure you subscribe to the Wager Talk channel. That way you get notified when all of these breakdown videos are released, as well as all of our live shows. So thank you very much, guys. Have a great day, and we'll be back on Monday. All right, now let's talk cricket. All right, here's how the game.
What is there crickets? I'm sorry. I thought you said crickets. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button there, Andy. That's my bad.
That's all right. Okay, so the match started 2 nights ago, and what happens is the team that bats first, they get 10 outs, and they can go as long as they want. Well, they went a long time. They actually went into day 2. So what happened yesterday was England had started the day, and they only had 1 out to go. So Australia needed to get a quick out. If England could have grinded out a bunch more runs, Australia would have been in trouble. Australia got the out real quick. So now it's Australia's turn to bat. And the pitch that they're playing on is really, really gettable. So Australia went the entire day and only used 6 outs, and now they're 44 runs ahead of England. So what's going to happen later today when they start is Australia's going to start the day, and they have 4 outs to play with. So they're going to put up a pretty big number. Once they're done, England goes again, they get 10 more outs, and then Australia goes and they get 10 more outs. So all of us that have been on Australia, what we're hoping for is Australia just keeps those outs and runs a bunch of runs and gets out to hopefully 100-run lead. They get to a 100-run lead. We are looking really, really good. So play started off at minus 190. Now it's minus 400. So that's where we're sitting. So sitting really good. I mean, you start off at minus 190. Now you're at minus 400. It's about as good as you can get. So, but fingers crossed, if they have a big, big day today, we are in the driver's seat. So that is how cricket works. And Dan, I will explain later how they literally take a lunch, a dinner, and an afternoon tea break. Like not the audience, the players. This is a tradition from 100 years ago, and they just never got rid of it.
You got to stick with tradition. You got to stick with tradition.
Tea. Jan, who does all of our cricket plays, he's like, have you ever heard anything more English
that's how you're riding. That's how you know you're riding with Andy Lang and his team when the sport that you're betting has a tea break involved. That's when you know you're betting darts and lacrosse and cricket and wheelbarrow racing. But if we got an edge, Andy, we're going to find it. So let's go.
Absolutely.
Australia.
Let's go, Australia. Bring it home in the ashes. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Well done.
Good luck on all your bets. We'll see everyone Monday. Take care.